I'd like to present to Michael Bradley, captain of Toronto FC, the 2017 Eastern Conference Championship Trophy.
In Toronto. What's up, everybody? Welcome to MLS Playoff Central, the post-game show. I'm Susanna Collins. I am joined by Kaylin Carr, Rodney Wallace, Ethan Finley, and a huge congratulations in order to Toronto FC. They are Eastern Conference champions once again after a hard-fought win over the Columbus Crew, 1-0 result. Kaylin, I gotta toss this one to you right off the bat here because you kind of called this. You said all along that Toronto FC are the favorites heading into. They proved tonight exactly why they are. Your initial reactions to this win.
I was just laughing watching the trophy scene because there's always like the one homegrown kid who gets up by the trophy somehow, and all the photos end up with, how did this guy show up?
Part of the team.
Yeah. No, this was. I wanted to pick Columbus, to be honest, going into this one because first of all, they deserve it with their play on the field. I think they've impressed so many people, so we should probably begin by saying what an incredible run.
Yeah.
Zach Steffen was huge, but TFC, just too much quality. You saw Josie, Javinko, Vasquez. Rodney and I went to the board and looked at that triangle where you saw a pretty perfect example in real time tonight of their interplay. It goes over and you see Javinko here using the hold-up play. These guys can all interchange, but that first touch from Josie, I think, is the one that was the revealing one, and then the perfectly weighted, patient pass from Vasquez to be able to spring him through. You'll notice Abubakar just takes one little step, has to delay when Vasquez gets the ball right here and just pauses for a second, and it's too late. And then you've got to give Josie a ton of credit, courageous performance. But TFC, as you said, Susanna, the only team in a long time that I can remember, maybe since some of those Galaxy teams, where going into the playoffs you felt this team should win MLS Cup. It was almost hard to imagine them not getting there. Now they've got that part done, but still one big step to go.
Rodney, fair to say that this is the best team in MLS. They earned the right to be here.
They've shown it. Game in and game out. They are where they are because of how they've been playing throughout the whole year. Credit to them. They did everything that they had to do today. He was great. Didn't come off the field. Got the goal. That's legendary stuff. So good for him. Good for Toronto.
I just think, it validates their Supporter Shield season.
Yeah.
You want the best teams to be in the final. We talked about it a little bit in the back and at the end of the game there. And, I think the best teams coming out of the Eastern Conference.
So we saw the beautiful goal from Josie Altidore. I mean, he didn't even have a great first half. I mean, we were talking about it as we were watching it. He hardly touched the ball at all in that first half.
Nobody on Toronto did.
Yeah, and
credit to Columbus Crew FC in that one. I thought we were talking about 8-year-old manager Berhalter did an excellent job setting them up.
Yeah, I thought he set the team up really well tonight. I was very impressed with Pedro Santos this evening, playing on that left side as a wingback, a role we haven't seen him play. We thought, Lawless came in and played pretty well, obviously, in a big moment, in a big game. And through 45 minutes, Columbus Crew SC looked pretty good.
For Toronto being the home team with a chance to going to MLS Cup, they looked confused, they looked lost. It didn't really look like there was a path forward for them. Columbus Crew so well organized behind the ball and then able to hit on the break. Had a couple early chances that looked from Justin Miram, I think, is one that he wants back. Should have taken it first time, maybe a bit of more confidence in his game leading into this one. He maybe takes that first time. That's his shot, really. He's done that all year.
Right there, one touch, far post.
Yeah, I want to take it back to Josie Altidore, who, he had kind of this, we were talking about it, I was trying to remember the name of the American gymnast who landed on one leg and won the gold for the United States. Kerry Strug, by the way. Thank you very much. But this was Josie Altidore's Kerry Strug moment. He had gone down with that injury, as you said. We weren't sure if he was going to come off. It looked like he might, and then he wasn't. And then he comes in beast mode, as Greg Manny said at the end of the game. Marshawn might have something to say about that. But goes beast mode, puts the ball in the back of the net. Gets the game winner. I mean, does this cement his legacy? Is this what legends are made of, Rodney?
Yes. This is This is a big player making a big play. And, you know, backstage we're watching the game. We didn't know if he was going to stay on or was he going to come off. And, you know, I thought he was done. Mm-hmm. You know, I ruled him out. I was like, no, he's done. He's limping. He can't do it. Stays on, gets the goal, celebrates, limping.
I don't think he was feeling his ankle.
He's limping. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter. I mean, that's just a great play. You know, the three of them right there combining again, and then, you know, with Josie finishing it off like that, it's just it's a great story for Toronto. It just adds to what they're doing this whole season.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about mental toughness earlier, and he touched on his post-game interview where he said, you know, I felt like I had more to offer. I knew I was hurt, but I felt like I could, you know, make a difference in this game, and he wanted to stay on as long as he could. And, you know, mental toughness got him through the moment and a goal tonight.
Credit to Vanny as well for giving him that opportunity. A lot of coaches may panic in that situation, try and get a guy off because you don't want to be a man down. But we talked pregame also about legends, right? And Josie talking to me about wanting to be a legend in Toronto. Well, it takes, legends are made of moments and trophies, right? And he's had moments. You look back at last year's playoff run, the goals against Montreal Impact. If Swiss, my old teammate from Berkeley, Stefan Fry, didn't have that moment in MLS Cup, the lasting moment in that one would have been Josie's header to the back post. That could have been a completely different script.
Stolen moment for him.
Exactly. I think Josie gets a lot of grief amongst especially American fans, and I don't think it's fair. I take issue with it. I think a lot of it comes from his lack of success in the Premier League, which playing for Sunderland, that doesn't...
Chip on his shoulder.
Chip.
Is that kind of
absolutely? But it's not fair. Of course, injuries in the World Cup before will also add to that. He'll tell you himself, didn't get the job done along with the group this year. But when you look at MLS players, talent, ability, and then also his performance in MLS, I think tonight was a big step towards cementing his legacy as MLS legend.
Well, how about we hear from the man himself. David Goss is with Josie Altidore at BMO Field. David.
Josie, real simple. You get hurt, you go down, you get back up. What was going through your head? How did you figure out how to stay on the field?
I just kept telling myself I can't go out like this, man. I can't go out like this. I just try to stay on for as long as I can. If a chance fell to me, I knew that if I'm on the field, I could take it. So I'm happy it ended that way, and I'm happy we get another chance to play for MLS Cup.
You come back from the suspension, then you get the injury. What was the emotions when you scored the goal?
Yeah, it was a lot because I was so pissed. I knew that I'd have a problem continuing just because ankles are difficult, right? You know, obviously in soccer, it's one of the most important parts of the body. So I knew I couldn't continue, but I wanted to give myself and whoever was coming on time to get ready. And like I said, I knew there was a play there still in the next 10, 15 minutes. So I was happy, very excited.
When you look at this squad, back-to-back years going to MLS Cup, what does it say about this team? What type of accomplishment is this?
This is huge. It says a lot about, you know, from Greg Vanny to Tim Bezbachenko, Bill Manning, Larry Tannenbaum, even Tim Lewicki when he was around. You know, the pieces were put into place a long time ago, and it's about believing, being patient, and building something. And this is something special we have here. And it only comes with a lot of hard work and building an environment where it's work first. And I think that's what Greg has done, and you see on the field we're reaping the benefits.
What's going to be like another opportunity to play an MLS Cup in front of this crowd here at BMO?
It's amazing, and this is the only way that, you know, we saw the year ending. Obviously, it wasn't going to be easy, but we were obsessed with getting back to this game. And I think we've showed that throughout the season, and we're here. We have another big opportunity in front of the best fans in the league.
If you win this treble, what will it mean in your career? What would it mean for the decision to come here to Toronto?
Oh, it means everything. Look, I took a big risk to leave Europe, where, you know, I've wanted to be my whole career, to come to a project that was different, but could be so rewarding if it got done the right way. And for 2-3 years, we've done a lot of great things, but we're missing that. And you know, it would mean the world to win MLS Cup.
And to do it with Michael?
Absolutely. You know, I've known Michael my whole career. He's been my friend throughout our whole career. We've been through a lot together, and, you know, it would mean a lot for the both of us.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so two things stood out to me from that interview. Number one, said he was pissed, which goes to your point. Also said they were obsessed. Obsessed with getting back there. Rodney, your reaction to Josie?
He's right. I mean, you know, you see Josie, you see the fire that he plays with. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder every game that you see him play. And for him to get rewarded for basically all the stuff that's been going on this year, and, you know, with the whole U.S. not making it, and him getting a lot of the talk, you know what I mean? It's this is the reward right here. And like he said, it's not done. You know, it'd be special for them to definitely get the cup.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, yeah, obsessed. I kind of, knee-jerk reaction there when he said that. But, that goes to his mindset, and it goes to the mindset of this group. And I think that's the reason they're here. And they look, well-oiled and prepared to take another shot at it.
The other word to pick out for me was project, coming back for a project. And it's hard to sort of think back and remember now because the TFC we see today is a completely different, Alexi Lalas after the match is talking about them being a super club. And that's deservedly so, but we take it back to the beginning, 2007, came into the league, of course, always had excellent support, but didn't have results that first year. Talked to Danny Dicchio. I played in that match. I think he scored the first goal, but it took 4 games to get it done. 2011, Danny Kuvermans called him the worst team in the world, I think, at one point. So give Greg Vanney and Tim Bezbatchenko a ton of credit for changing the environment, the culture of the club, not one just of stars, of spending money, but one of a real team. And I think that's why Greg Vanney deserves Coach of the Year. And look, you can't argue with the results.
No, you absolutely can't. Well, let's talk a little bit about Columbus. Just going to give myself a tiny bit of props here. Not too much. I did say that Zach Steffen was going to come up big for his team, and he certainly did on that Victor Vasquez penalty kick. We have a hot take hotline tweet coming in. Basically says, this is Calvin from Gary, Indiana. He says, TFC pays way too much money in striker salary for Victor Vasquez to be taking that penalty. So were you guys surprised at all when it was him that stepped up and not Josie or Sebastian Giovinco to take the penalty?
A little bit. I think obviously, the other two are coming off a suspension, and they want to make an impact in their imprint on the game. But what it also says to the confidence they have in him as a player. He's been solid for them, throughout the year. I think, they've shared PKs amongst the 3 of them throughout the year, and they expected a guy of his quality to make it, obviously. And I think, he went up against a hot goalkeeper, and Steffen won.
Hot goalkeeper. You made a very good point while we were watching that PK, Kaylin. I'm going to tee you up on what you said about Zach Steffen.
Well, so much time is spent studying penalty kicks from the goalkeeper's perspective. I know you were saying Pat Onstad has every single penalty kick, and we'll show it to Zach Steffen. People need to start watching Zach Steffen. That's how good he is, because if you look at the last saves he's made, down to his right against Gressel, down to his right again in this game. David Villa on decision day, down to his right. Some goalkeepers have preferences and are stronger to a certain side.
Oh, here we go.
He can get down there pretty much better than anybody.
I might be in the background of some of these, but
Susanna was ready to step in case it got past him, but it didn't happen. But Landon Donovan said,
there I am.
Zach Steffen's a guy that should be looking towards this next cycle of U.S. men's national team goalkeepers. Stepped up in pressure again and again and again, and having a guy like Landon Donovan in your corner doesn't hurt as well.
Right.
But he's been one of these stories of the playoffs, a lot to be proud of.
Ronnie, you played against him. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, these are big games. And going back to the tweet, to me, it doesn't make sense. You have big players missing chances, and it's part of the game. You know what I mean? Like Kaylin touched on. David Villa, he saved his PK, you know what I mean? And, look what he's done in his career. So, I don't know.
He's all right.
Yeah.
He's not too bad.
Yes.
All right, well, let's check back in with David Goss, who is standing by with Victor Vasquez. David.
We're here with Victor Vasquez and Leo. Leo, how do you feel about the win?
Good.
You're happy? Yes? Yeah, he's happy. Victor, this is always going to be a tough test. Columbus comes out, they show you something different. The PK save. What was the emotion like in this team? How did you guys turn this around?
Yeah, because like we show, we are always ready, we are always strong, and we keep our brains always focused, and this makes the difference. They are good team, we are good team, but sometimes in this kind of games, the quality is not enough. I missed the penalty, I'm sorry for that, because maybe the game, it will be better for me, for us, and then finally we get this goal from Josie that he did amazing, even injury, and we have to be really happy and proud what we did today.
For a lot of this team, this is the second year in a row getting here. You're the new piece. What have they said about how difficult it would be, and how was this test?
Yeah, we know it's really hard to get again here, 2 times in a row. But we have to believe in ourselves. And for me, it's my first time. I'm so happy to be in a final, and we will see also to play in front of our fans. It will be amazing. We have to be ready now for another battle against Seattle or Houston, but we have to be happy and today and enjoy, because this thing today is amazing.
for Josie. He gets injured. He comes back. He scores the goal. I saw you grabbing him and yelling at him afterwards. What were you saying?
I was saying you make the difference, because if you were out, maybe we didn't score this goal. Okay, I had the ball, I give a good ball to him, but he finished wonderful. I'm so happy for him, because after he had to leave the pitch, and we have to be proud. Like I say, we have to enjoy this moment.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, Leo.
I always love it when the kids are in the interview, too. His kid was so chill.
Yeah.
He was just like, what?
Act like you've been there.
Act like you've been there. Act
Daddy
like you've
got
been there.
this.
Victor Vasquez, he apologizes for missing the penalty, but then, he is a key component of that goal. What were your thoughts on the way he played tonight?
Had a completely different game from the first leg. I thought that, him combining with Josie, combining with Javinko, I think it made it a lot easier for him to really bring out his game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's exactly what we talked about in the Audi Player Index Spotlight. How much better he is when
Excellently
they're with
broke
him.
down by Rodney.
Well done, Rodney.
Well, it's just really hard in big matches like this with all the pressure, the environment. It's really hard to stay calm, right? And great players are able to find a way to do that. And I alluded to it in the highlight of that goal, the decisive one tonight from Josie, where he takes that little bit of extra time to allow the play to develop. That takes such composure. Josie plays it in one time, it kind of lands at his feet, but he doesn't panic. He takes that extra little second. You'll see it right here. It just pauses 1 second, unbalances the defense. He's been the difference between, you look at last year's run, and yes, they got through it, and Ricketts was kind of the X factor coming off the bench, but Javinko would have to come back to pick up the ball. They didn't have that extra little piece to be able to create something where it was going to have to be coming only from Josie or Javinko. Now with Vasquez, just that little bit of composure. They trust him. And the other thing I really liked about it is he gave Josie a lot of credit, obviously, after the match. And then you listen to Josie on FS1 talking to Alexi and Rob Stone, and he mentioned Mavinga, Vasquez, and Delgado as the three players that made a difference. And when you have a team that's passing around credit and you have your big star, particularly, who scores the game winner, passing along some of the kudos to the guys that have come in who are new to the team, that shows a lot about the kind of culture of the club right now.
Yeah, your thoughts
I mean,
on
just
that?
very selfless. That's kind of what I see, and that's just to touch on what you said. They're commenting and congratulating the guy next to him, and I think it's tremendous. Obviously, that's the culture you want to create. It's the culture we all want to be in as players, Rodney. And he's obviously a great player for them, and we wish them the best.
Absolutely. Well, two incredible coaches at the helm of these teams here tonight, in Greg Vanney and Greg Berhalter. Rodney, you had said we were watching that first half. Kaylin, you alluded to it earlier in the show. I mean, you said this was essentially a perfect first half played by Columbus. So you have to give credit to Greg Berhalter, as you did, Ethan, for his setup. He got it right. But then you've got to give also a huge amount of credit to the coach of the year, Greg Vanney, who then makes all those adjustments when Josie goes down, trying to figure out what pieces to put in place there. For you, I mean, what did you see from these coaches? I mean, is there anything that Berhalter could have done differently? What's your take?
Well, yeah, give a lot of credit to Toronto for the way they came out in the second half, but I thought that Columbus had a great first half. I mean, they were pressing the ball every chance that they got. Every time that Toronto touched the ball, they had three guys around them. They were creating chances, counterattacks. They were composed on the ball. The defense was solid. So give credit to them. They did exactly what they had to do in the first half. Mm-hmm. Toronto made some changes that, set the tone early, and ultimately it just came down to those little plays. And special guys, like I said, made special plays.
This couldn't have gone better for Columbus. I mean, if Berhalter, you told him before the match how it was going to play out, even down to the dying minutes. I mean, look at this chance right here, 87th minute. Goes almost just right under Kamara's leg there. But they had chances late, and if they get one of these ones, it's game over. They're hosting MLS Cup next week. That's how small the margins were in this. I couldn't be more impressed with Berhalter. I thought the way he brought the team out was we thought it was a bit crazy, to be honest,
Yeah,
because
everybody was
you've got
surprised.
Pedro Santos playing almost as like a left wing back when he's been playing on the right-hand side the entire playoffs. You didn't think that was going to work. You thought it was maybe too negative, but they were the aggressive team. Toronto FC looked confused, as we mentioned. Even one goal down, have chances late to tie it and give them a chance to go host MLS Cup. So outside of stepping in there and maybe scoring a goal himself, I don't really know what else he could have done.
Yeah, check out this tweet. Steve Gennaro says, Greg Vanney, genius. Got it all right tonight. What do you think, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think, his decision at halftime to pull Zavaleta and to bring in Delgado, I thought was extremely important to go to the 4 in the back system, kind of a little bit away from, what their bread and butter is. It made a difference. It stifled the attack for, Columbus until about the 75th minute. That's when we saw Columbus start to come on. But the substitutions were great. They managed the game great, I think, down the stretch. And that's what a coach of the year does in critical moments.
Absolutely. Well, Kaylin, you mentioned the missed opportunities for Columbus, because there were some missed opportunities. Justin Miram had a couple. We saw the Kamara at the end was so close. I mean, I think Stu Holden said, he was like, if he got any part of his body on that ball, it would have been a goal, and they would be hosting Cup. Alas, that is not what happened. When a situation like that happens, where it's just missed opportunities, how do you kind of deal with that after the game? I mean, and you said it might be a confidence issue with a guy like Justin Miram. Like, what are they sort of dealing with right now?
Yeah, they gave themselves opportunities on the road in Toronto, so you can't fault them for that. I thought Greg Vanney taking Delgado and putting him next to Michael Bradley helped a lot, because it kind of stifled things up for Higuain to be able to find space on the ball. I thought that was a really good adjustment. And then Kudamane came in. You see him here. He had some good opportunities. They tried him up the center. Maybe if you have it to do all over again, you put him out wide and allow him to kind of run one-on-one against guys. I think they tried that the last 10 minutes when Jimenez came in. But look, there's going to be a lot of questions internally, sleepless nights right now. This is not a fun place to be. We've all been there, but I think you can't fault the effort or the performance. Right? Some of us are here right now.
Still going through it. Yeah. In fact, I think I talked to you after that game, and you were just like, oh, man, just get me off this field. All right, well, let's send it back out to BMO Field. David Goss is with Jonathan Asorio.
Jonathan, in this game, you come out, you know the task that has to happen. A tense first half, then this team turns around, they get the goal. What did it feel like to play in front of this crowd in this game?
It's amazing. This crowd always comes through for us. They always show up every game, and we knew they were going to be behind us the whole game. It was tough. It didn't go the way we wanted, that's for sure. But sometimes in these games, these are the type of scenarios we have to play against, and we grinded it out, and thanks to our fans, they pushed us, and we got that goal, and we really pushed to keep the 0 in our net.
What does it mean to be able to get to this point 2 straight years?
It's so hard. Like I keep saying, I don't think people realize how difficult it is. But this team, we just have so much good players, and we have so much belief in ourselves, so much confidence that we knew this was possible, and now to get another chance for MLS Cup, it's going to be amazing.
For a local guy, what would it mean to win a championship for this city?
It's what I dreamed about. So I've been dreaming about for a long time, and especially ever since I joined the club, that's my goal, and to get a championship, to help bring a championship here, and we have that chance now, December 9th.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, better hair, Kaylin Carr or Jonathan
Come on,
Asorio?
Rodney Wallace.
Rodney Wallace. Ethan and I are just like,
we're just
fine.
The other thing I was going to touch on, you just
We're
see
basic.
it behind Jonathan there, is the atmosphere tonight.
Yeah.
Rodney, you've played abroad and here. What did you take away from the scenes at Toronto tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it. It was, it's incredible to see this league, to see, teams with 30, 20, 40, 70, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's incredible. And, we don't get enough credit for that, but it's something special that we have here.
I mean, Kaylin and I were at the Eastern Conference Championship game, Leg 2, last year against Montreal, and that stadium, it was shaking. It was literally shaking, and they referenced it tonight on the broadcast. I mean, Greg Vanney gave credit to the fans as well. I mean, how big is that for them when you have a crowd that large just completely behind you?
Yeah, I mean, it can drown out the noise of anyone else in the stadium or anyone else on your team. It's huge. When you're playing in it and you're playing with it, right? In Toronto's case, you do. You feel like a 12th man out there, and in the tough moments, they're able to push you to that next step. I mean, I'm sure Josie would probably attest to that tonight as that play was happening. You could kind of hear the crowd get excited.
You hate to get sentimental, but if you're a kid in Toronto right now and you were at maybe the run last year in the playoffs and you had those moments and then the heartbreak at the end of the match, and then you come back this year and you see it happen again. I mean, we talk about sort of building history or building legacies in this league. For young Toronto FC fans, it's got to be a pretty special time. Really, any Toronto FC fan, but especially the young ones. It's some pretty special moments happening.
Well, it was interesting to listen to Jonathan Asorio talk as well.
He's a Toronto
native, and he said this is what he's dreamed about, since he was a kid. And so, Mike, we've talked about Columbus as being the team of destiny, and unfortunately, that came to an end for them tonight. But is the team of destiny now Toronto FC? I mean, is this it? Is this their moment? Is this their time?
They got to do it. They really have to do it.
They have to do it, you're saying?
They got to do it. Asorio, he's got to put on for his city. They've been the best team in the East. And, they have to finish the whole thing off. It's the story that we all want, at least, Am I wrong?
No.
Yeah. Well, Seattle Sounders might have something to say about that. And that's all due respect to...
Don't sleep on Houston now.
All due respect to Houston, but... Seattle should win that series. I would expect them to advance. I think these are the two best teams potentially matching up in MLS Cup. Obviously a rematch of last year, but I think that's a good thing for the league. So long, we talked about the criticisms of MLS, Rodney, and so much of it has been you never know what's going to happen, and some of that's a bit of the magic of MLS too. But to have the best teams facing off in MLS Cup, I do think would be a good thing. But hey, at the same time, Houston also has been known to upset some people and to kind of disrupt the narrative. So,
there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
None.
Ethan? None? We're good? Well, guys, it's either going to be Seattle or Houston traveling to Toronto, who will be hosting MLS Cup on December 9th. Congrats to the Eastern Conference champions. You guys, we are going to be back here tomorrow night ahead of the match. That game is at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN and then TSN and TVA Sports in Canada. We'll be doing the pregame show, the postgame show. It's going to be a blast.
Same crew?
Same crew. Same crew, you guys.
Night two.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow night.